All four sports, East Coast, East Side, we ride. Yes, NBA playoffs, finals hunt is here. Talked about April Madness for the NBA. And who do we got on the East at the top slot? Let's look at last year. Like I said, I like to look at the past. Tells me a little bit about the future. Raptors, Wizards were there. Cavaliers, Pacers, 76ers, Heat, Celtics, and the Bucks. Okay? Who's out? Heat, out. Wizards, out. Okay? Discussed this in the last video when I did the West Coast. Now talking about the East Coast, I'm back. Hey, Milwaukee's in their number one slot. Giannis, freak, Greek. The freak from Greek. Oh, the freak from Greece. They got Bledsoe. Okay, they're facing the Detroit Pistons. Hello, how are you? Blake Griffin, are you back to the Clippers days, baby? Do you got some knee left? Huh? Do you got some knee left? Reggie Jackson, you always wanted to be a star. Is it your time? Hey, next up, Boston Celtics, Indiana Pacers, Kyrie. Can they come full circle? That's the question. Can they come full circle? Are they ready? They should beat the Pacers. Pacers that are missing Victor Oladipo. They should beat them, but we'll see what happens. We'll get into details. Hold on one second. 76ers, bang, bang, boom. My favorites to come out the East. I'll just say it now. Yeah, I'm going for the Sixers all the way. Like their lineup, like I said, I wish they would have added another point guard, but TJ McConnell is shutting me up lately. He has gotten better and better and better throughout the course of the season, and it's really making me say he is a good backup. Maybe that's all they need. Brooklyn Nets, overachievers, good job, great, you made it. I was against you. I'm not gonna lie to you. I wanted the Miami Heat in your slot. I wanted an all Florida playoff run, but I didn't get that. Next up, Toronto versus Orlando. One of the toughest matches, I think, in the East. Scary matchup for Toronto if Orlando can come full circle. We'll get into that in a second. Let's jump back up to the top. Milwaukee versus Detroit Pistons. Here we go. Let's go to the stats. Stats are here for us to help us. When we look at percentages, let's go up to the top. I start with the scoring. How many points per game? How many points per game? Look at this team. You know why they're number one? Because they're number one. Scoring. Surprised me. Milwaukee's up top. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. Okay? Milwaukee's up top. All right? Last three games, they've gone down the list a little bit, but you remember they're resting a little bit. Giannis is resting. The team's resting, getting ready for their first playoff run. No, excuse me, their next playoff run. And it's going to be interesting to see how they hold up. Look at the team stats when you go in a defensive perspective. Where are they at? Why are they number one? Let's go up. They're in the top 15 here. You're good. There you go. Milwaukee, number 11. You can only score 109 on these boys through the year. Only 109. I know that's high, but hey, other guys are letting you score 119, like Atlanta. Like Atlanta. It's okay. So 109 for Milwaukee. Okay. That's why they're the top. Let's go into three-point percentage. Let's talk about that a little bit. That's another thing that's very, very important in the NBA. Milwaukee, 15th. Again, highly efficient in all areas. Not great at one thing, but then efficient at others. Hey, that's why you got the number one slot. And if you look at their roster and who they compiled and who they brought together, they're a bunch of players that no one was thinking about. Bunch of players that no one was thinking about, and they made it happen. So that's what's the interesting thing about the Milwaukee Bucks. And they go and play a team in the Detroit Pistons who really, really, wow, at the crest of their teeth made the playoffs. Look at their scoring. They're at the bottom. Okay? If you want to know what the draft, it's quite simple. Find a scorer. Find a shooting guard scorer. Kevin Porter Jr., I mentioned this player so many times. They do have Luke Kennard there. Can you pair Kevin Porter Jr. with Luke Kennard or Cam Reddish there to Detroit? That is really the best position for one of those guys. Stanley Johnson didn't play out. But anyway, let me jump to the draft. I will kill this video. Detroit Pistons, 107 points. They're near the bottom in scoring. Again, this is the 8th team, so we shouldn't see them at the top of anything. Three-point shooting. Here we go. Is Detroit even in the... No. Okay. So it's stupid of me to even go there. Obviously, they're not shooting threes, and they're not even shooting at a high percentage when they do shoot the threes. They're near the bottom there as well. All right. Rebounding. I'm just trying to find. So I didn't go into this in the other videos, but I gotta find find something for these guys. Team rebounds per game. They gotta be up here. There you go. The big men, Drummond and Blake Griffin. Those are the guys, right? Those are the guys that you look to. Those are the guys that you look to. Okay, that's what they do. They're a defensive strong team. Let's keep scoring defense. Points per game. They should be up top. Aha, Detroit. Okay, Detroit is actually better than Milwaukee. It's a tale of two stories. We knew they were going to be defensively sound. So Detroit comes in with two of the best big men in the league, and Milwaukee comes in with the best, I think, one of the best all-around teams in the East. Let me not say that. The best compilation of glue guys on one team that make themselves successful. And they're going into this playoff run expecting to do great things. Let's first jump to the guys who I think will be the victors, the Milwaukee Bucks. And this is really upset territory here for the Detroit Pistons. They could upset, but look at the lineup. An all-star, in my opinion, Eric Bledsoe. You got Giannis. There goes your big two. Then you add on the next all-star, Chris Middleton. He worked his way up. Great job, Chris. So Chris is in there. I wish they would have kept we're going to talk about him in a second. But Chris Middleton's there, so they got their three. Then they added in Pau Gasol. They added in a couple of vets, George Hill, again, to secure the lineup. And the X factor for me that's been coming out has been Brook Lopez. What a year for Brook Lopez. Extending his range. What a stupid move by the Lakers. I mean, just stupid. I said this in the beginning of the summertime, and here we go again. Another dumb move. I'm sorry. I'm not going to go there. Anyway, Brook Lopez, great improvement this year. Has improved every year. Was an all-star. Still is an all-star to me. Can play the post. Can go on the outside. Not a great defensive anchor, but he's up top. I mean, he's upper echelon. So he is really the anchor of this team. I know people like to look at Giannis and Eric and Chris, but really the X factor is Brook Lopez. He's the X factor that takes him over the hump. You look at the rest of the lineup and a bunch of role players. Malcolm Brogdon, again, strong defensive big guard for Milwaukee Bucks. Sterling Brown, he's another defensive guard. Again, very strong lineup. Pat Connaughton plays the three-point guy. Okay, strong lineup. And then they added on a couple guys that I think are interesting who can shoot the three. They got stretch force, and that is Nikolai Mirotic and Ersan Ilyasova. What two great pickups for this team. They're going to stretch your body so far. DJ Wilson comes in as the all-purpose glue guy for them. Tony Swell also is the three-point sharpshooter. So very strong lineup, efficient in all areas. Not super great, not superstar, except for Giannis and maybe Eric Bledsoe on some nights. Again, he's older. Great team. From a lineup perspective, they have all the pieces to make it very far in the playoff run. And if they're healthy, they should go very far. So this is the lineup. X factors for me, Brook Lopez. Big gains from the stretch four guys, Nikolai and Ersan. Just too much for the Detroit Pistons. Let's look at their team. I'm going to tell you how it lines up, who goes with who, and kind of tell you why they're in trouble. Guard position. Andre Drummond versus Brook Lopez. He's going to stretch Andre Drummond out. Andre Drummond's going to have to run out the whole game, okay? He's not going to be able to be the defensive center for us inside unless they go to some type of zone defense. Andre Drummond, one of the better center, one of the best centers in the league, in my opinion, still is, is going to have to run out, and he likes to stay in the paint. That's his game. So it's going to be interesting to see when you got centers on the Milwaukee Bucks side that can just shoot the lights out of you, and you're going to have a freaking problem, right? When you got guys that can just shoot the lights out at the center position, it becomes a problem. Let me do something a little different. Add a minute. God, I can't wait for 5G. I'm telling you. I really can't wait for 5G. So, if I go here, boom, let me bring this over. Do this dual screen for you guys. What I'm trying to show is, come on. Are we going to say it's user error? I mean, is that what we're going to say? Is it really me or is it the computer? That said, let's jump over. I'm going to put the Milwaukee Bucks up on the other side. And let's just see it, man. Let's just really look at this. Let's just be honest with ourselves. Starters, okay? Blake Griffin being stretched out by Ursan Lilova, Nikolai Mirotic. And now at the forward position, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Greek Freak. That's why they gave him a nickname, because I really can't pronounce that. The Greek Freak. Okay? So Greek Freak, Ilyasova, Mirotic versus Blake Griffin. Wow, how did they make the playoffs? I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude. These are NBA players, but wow. I mean, they got in Tom Akers. Tom Akers is going to have to come in and help out Blake Griffin with all these big guys. They are loaded. Now, John Lauer does play the stretch four position for those guys. He can shoot. They got dirty dozen inside, Mr. Zaza Pachulia. Okay. Other than that, it's tough. They traded away all their assets, which didn't. Harry Ellison. I mean, they traded away a lot of assets. I don't know why they did that. I just don't know. I know it wasn't working, but it would have been better to see D'Angelo and Henry Ellison there. So they let those guys go and going on a rant. You can see just by looking side by side, just the eye test, they're in trouble. Reggie Jackson at the point guard position. Jose Calderon has been a solid. Wish he played more with the Cavs that one year. Ish Smith's one of the better backup point guards. Maybe they have the edge there, slightly more point guards available. If Reggie Jackson can show out, maybe. Point guard, shooting guard position. I like Luke Kennard so much. I like him a lot. I really do. I think I'll give him that edge there. Okay, that's wrong of me. It's incorrect of me from a stat perspective. I'm totally wrong. Can Glenn and Luke Kennard as well as Wayne Ellington do something special? They play Sterling Brown quite a bit. Big defensive guard out of Miami. Bruce Brown. I mean, he's a strong player. Look at his face, man. Get at me. You want it? Yeah. I think at the guard position they got it. The four other positions and up, they're in a lot of trouble. Giannis, Powell, even at an old age, limited minutes, he can do the same thing he's been doing. Brooke, Ilyasova, Mirotic, Middleton, DJ. Too much there. Too much. This is how they win the games. They're very strong at the forward position and up. Very, very strong. So you're going to have issues there. It's going to be the X factors are going to be the guards. The guards on the Pistons side are going to have to make something happen. Next thing, like Galloway get off, Luke Kennard get off. Will they play Svi? I love Svi out of the Lakers. Keep talking about him. Svi and Robinson. What can they get out of these guys? We shall see. For this one, I'm sorry, guys, for the Detroit fans. I do got the Pistons losing this. I'm giving them 2 games in 6 games, okay? Milwaukee winning in 6. But this is when I put an asterisk. It could be an upset if Blake totally goes off. I mean, 50, 45, those type of games. Drummond, 25 and 20. He's capable of that. It's those two, and they know it. So here we go again. The guards have the advantage, but I don't think they'll show out, so it'll still be against the big guys, Milwaukee. Next up, Boston Celtics versus Indiana Pacers. I'm not going to go too deep here. The Pacers are depleted. Now, could there be a meltdown? On the Boston Celtics? Yes. Yes, that's my problem with that team. There could be a meltdown. They could melt down, but let's see what the stats say. Do they melt down? Let's jump in there real quick. Steam statistics on scoring. Let's see points per game. Who do we got? Boston 14th. And where is Indiana? Makes sense. 22nd. And you know why? They lost my man's in. Man, my man's in there. Mr. Oladipo's gone. So expect it, right? You expect that. All right. let's get into the scoring defense. Be good to do a video without a mint in your mouth. Team defensive efficiency, I'm going with Indiana. Okay, we know it, right? Indiana is one of the strongest defensive teams. That's going to be the problem. But right up there with them is Boston. So Boston's right there, right? Then you got the scoring, points per game. We already looked at that. I want to get into, I think what would be critical for them is turnovers, right? Turnovers per game. Kyrie, dribble man, they're not too bad. 12th. Indiana actually averages more. Boy. So for me, everything that I'm pointing to here, from a statistical perspective, let's go blocks per game. I don't know if that matters for me too much. I'm sorry. I'm trying to give Indiana something here. Team rebounds. Let's see what they got there. They should lead that. They may lead that, and they do. Team rebounds per game. Can they get second shots? Can they get second shots? Looks like Boston is near the bottom. So that's where I thought they would win out. The big men. Let's look at the Boston Celtics lineup versus the Indiana Pacers. Indiana has a couple guys that will need to get off heavy. All right. If you go to the right, it's going to be Tyreke Evans. He's not what they expected him to be, but him and Wesley Matthews are going to have to go off hard. Okay. They also added in Bojan Bogdanovic, an X factor no one's talking about. He's a great small forward. Another guy I think is an MIP type of guy. I like his style. He's, if you remember Austin Crochet, he's playing that Austin Crochet type role for the Indiana Pacers. And then they'll have Doug McDermott, Dougie Score. Dougie Score is going to have to do his thing. Other than that, Miles Leonard is probably the anchor for me, along with Thaddeus Young inside. Donatas Sabonis is heading on a way to a great career. What can these three do against the bigs versus the bigs on Boston? These are guys that are going to have to take advantage of their position, maybe throw in some Colin Quinn in there to beat them up. That's going to be the interesting play here and where they can have successes inside. Other than that, it is going to be a long tourney for them unless, again, Tyreke or Wesley go completely off, which they can, for 30, 40-point games. Darren Collison's the anchor at the point guard position. The point guard position, they're going to be sadly beaten up. There's too much on the Boston Celtics side. If you look at Boston, okay, I didn't realize they got P.J. Dozier. Great pickup by that team. Terry Rozier, right? He had in Marcus Smart, the big defensive guard, okay? Then you got Kyrie Irving. Too much there. You jump into the small forward position or big guard position. They got him there. Jalen, Tatum, right? Jalen and Tatum as well as Gordon Hayward. Got him there, okay? This is a sign of a strong team. Then you got the power forward position, which I think advantage may turn. Marcus Morris, right? Marcus Morris versus, I'm going to say that Mr. Miles Turner is going to play that forward role. And Thaddeus Young, can they take advantage of that edge that they have against the Boston Celtics, right? These other guys are not ready yet. Yabusele and the rest of the folks. But Marcus Morris is by himself. I wish we could have nabbed up his brother somehow, some way, but they couldn't. That's all they have right there inside, and him by himself with a one-man army is not going to be strong enough. And that's one thing I see a problem with the Boston Celtics. Their lack of size. They did draft Mr. Robert Williams Jr. Would like to see him play a little bit from a defensive perspective to anchor the post. Center position, Al Horford. I respect his game. I respect his name, but he's getting older. The edge again still goes to me to Indiana from a depth perspective, but Al Horford is obviously the best of the bunch. If you look at both teams, Al Horford is the best center of both teams, but he doesn't have enough help. I think he has a couple good guys that play good roles. Aaron Bynes is strong, but other than that, I don't know where they go from a big perspective because Robert Williams is just getting his feet wet and getting acclimated. I got the Boston Celtics taking this one, guys. Sorry. Hey, Boston Celtics in about 5 games. If they don't do it in 5 games, make it a 6 or 7 game series. What a shame. They're going to be tired. And I think Milwaukee Bucks are going to have fun in that perspective. So it's going to be there, Milwaukee, and there goes Boston. Next up, bang, bang, bang. 76ers versus the Brooklyn Nets. Interesting lineup there. Brooklyn, I've been hating on you guys all year long. Okay, I'll be honest with you. The real reason is I'm from Jersey, and they moved the team from Jersey up to Brooklyn. So Jersey doesn't have a basketball team. So make fun of me now. Don't care. Yeah, but I'm not going to review it. Sixers and 4. I'm just joking. So let's go. Let's go into the lineups. Let's go into the lineups real quick and look at the 76ers. At first, let's go stats. Keep it streamlined. Stat wise, we'll keep it on the rebounds. We'll see who's there. Is the Sixers there? What a shame. What a shame for the 76ers to be 17th in scoring. That doesn't make sense to me. Sixers got to be higher up there. They got to put in more work. Something's up there. With the team that you have, you should not be there. And I mentioned Jeremy Grant on the OKC Thunder. What a trade that hurt them. Imagine if they had their core and added in these pieces that they had this year. I mean, can you imagine Jahlil Okafor, Nerlens Noel, Jeremy Grant, all those guys still on the team? I mean, it would have been freaking scary, but obviously you couldn't get that team if you didn't trade those guys. That said, yeah, they're not there from a scoring. Whereas our buddies, the Brooklyn Nets, holy shoot, they lead in rebounds. They're a rebounding focused team. Look at that. So they won one area. Let's look at scorings per game. Let's look at this. Philadelphia's up there, no doubt. Where's Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at? 112. Okay, not bad. They're under 15. I'm good. Not bad by Brooklyn. I mean, Jesus, they're doing it with tomato cans, but wow. Hey, you got to respect the game. Offensive efficiency. No one really looks at that. How efficient are you? Philadelphia's there. How efficient is Brooklyn? Okay, they're losing there. So this may be more of an eye test type of game for me. And eye test is when I put the lineups next to each other, I'm going to see bigger names on one side versus the other. And I think they just should win it out. But Brooklyn's very close to filling a lot of these statistics. I mean, look at the opponents per game defensively. Very close. Okay. Shooting wise, let's see. 3-point efficiency. Brooklyn may have Philadelphia. Okay. So right there goes the lead-in factor here. One part of Brooklyn that's not going to work out and why I'm saying they're going to win, I like to back up my eye test with actual facts, is scoring-wise. They're pretty much close in everything else, but they don't have the scoring talent. And if I went to the stats, closing, game closers, actually Brooklyn may. Let's quickly look at that. Scoring. Where the hell is that at? Winning percentage, closing games. I like this website. Jump on teamrankings.com. Thank you. Thank you for letting me utilize your site. Brooklyn is very strong on that, but so is Philadelphia. Not too far off, so I can't give them that either. They're about equal there. So Philly, Brooklyn, let's look at the right. I won't spend too much time on these guys because I think it's going to be a wash. Look at the lineups here. X Factors. Let's just jump into the X Factors straight up, okay? It's going to be Rondé Hollis-Jefferson for Brooklyn. We know that the eye on the ball will be on D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell, Shabazz Napier. I'm going to give them, I shouldn't be, because I think the Sixers are better. I'll give them the edge in the guard position with Russell, Shabazz Napier at the backup, okay? I cannot give them anything else. I cannot. I'm sorry. I cannot lie. DeMar Carroll's a great defensive guard. Allen Crabbe. These are two guys that are going to be the other X factors that they will have to go off. They're going to have to go off. These two guys will have to go off in order to keep them close. How close can they be to the big five of the 76ers? You notice I didn't say 4. I said big 5. The big 5 of the 76ers. That is going to be the question we have to ask ourselves. It's going to be tough to play that game. And the Sixers did add some pieces. They continue to add pieces to get themselves better. Okay? Look at the lineup. Other than Shake Milton, who's probably okay, they added in Greg Monroe, guys. No one did notice that, right? They're trying to go for this playoff run. They added in Greg Monroe. They got James Ennis from a defensive perspective. I'm just going the lower tier that's not even playing. We already know about Jimmy Butler, Tobias, We know about the Ben Simmons. We know about Joel Embiid. That's the four. That's the big four. Who's the number five? Why are you saying big? I think JJ Redick is having a tremendous season. Tremendous all-star like season. He is the breath of this team from a three-point perspective. Better than Mike Smith to help out with that. Mike Scott, I'm sorry, to help with the threes. And that's one area which I wish they would have added another piece, but they still got Korkan Korsmas. Can he come in minutes, be able to help with the three-point shot? These are your three-point shooters. I think they needed one more, and they did kind of get that in Tobias. But there you go. The 76ers, if you look on the other side, Spencer Dinwiddie is going to have to do what he regularly does. I didn't mention him, but he's a strong contributor. I really got them in 5. I don't even know if the Brooklyn Nets will win one game. Okay, if this team is focused. If this team is focused, focus Sixers. Don't play games or you'll be out of there. This is the playoffs. So on this one, folks, yeah, I'm sorry. I got the 76ers taking this in 5. I'll give them a game because of Spencer and D'Angelo Russell's elk, their breath of winning. I'll give them one game, but I'm sorry. I don't think they're going to get any. The most interesting lineup, the most interesting playoff game that you need to watch today, okay? Raptors versus Orlando, okay? Orlando is another underachieving team. I want to mention Miami Heat again. They really hurt me. I mean, they really hurt me by not making the playoffs. But Orlando Magic, scoring-wise, they're near the bottom, okay? But let's get into how they've been doing the last 3 games. You hear the silence? You hear the silence? Orlando Magic, from a team perspective, they're probably the 4th or 5th most athletic team in the league. All right, maybe 6th. Maybe 6th. And they have a lot of players that should be doing more with what they have. 3-point percentage. Oop, and then I should have just stayed there. Let me go back there. So we got Orlando Magic in the last few games really killing it from a scoring perspective. Now, what the hell do the Toronto Raptors have from a scoring perspective? They are number 8 overall for the year. How have they been doing in the last few games? I think Toronto's probably near. Okay, they're near the bottom. They're under the 15. Orlando's streaking. Toronto's going down now. However, they weren't playing everybody the full game. So that's another part that we need to look at. But Orlando is streaking. It is what it is. They're trying to make the playoffs, so they're streaking upwards. I just got to say it. It matters when you get hot, not if you're hot. It's when you're hot. 3-point percentage. Again, Toronto's near the top. Great job for those guys. But Orlando's not too far but down. They're under 15, right? They're under 15, so they're efficient. They're good there. Rebounding is probably where we're going to see this game change itself, right? Toronto should be higher than Orlando. If they're not, I am a little bit afraid and they're not. They are. And it's a shame that Orlando is near the bottom. The problem is Aaron Gordon is not necessarily a power forward per se who goes inside. And they need that. They're missing that. Kem Birch is there, but they need a bigger guy, and it's somebody they need to look to draft. Maybe a Bassey out of Western Kentucky could help them out in the maybe late first or second round if they can get a draft pick there. That said, Toronto is not great either from a rebound perspective. Let's look at the last 3 and how efficient they have been in the last 3. Toronto has been getting better rebounding-wise. Orlando, second chances. No, I mean, they're still near the bottom. And that's where I see your deficiency. Scoring defense, let's look at that. Toronto should be top, right? But no, they're not. Orlando is actually successful in defending their players. The last 3 games, Toronto's been strong. Orlando's fell off a bit, but not too far over the season. It's been Orlando at the top from a defensive perspective and opponent's points per game. Now, there's more factors than just that. Let's look at the efficiency. From a defensive efficiency perspective, Toronto is up top. Orlando's a little bit further down. They're very equally matched. Now you're going to see the faces, and you're going to say, well, this guy's talking trash. He's a moron. I saw some guys say Orlando doesn't have the better lineup, you moron. All right, let's look at Orlando's lineup, and I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking here. Okay, strong players. OG, great year. OG and Pascal Siakam, what improvements they have made. What great improvements. And a guy that no one's talking about, who I think they let Terrence Ross go for, is Norman Powell. Norman Powell has come in and done some great work. He could be looking at a big contract on his next one, a la Avery Bradley, if he gets to the right team. Norman Powell is an exceptional athlete and has improved his game to play in a team ball perspective. And I think he has a chance to really get paid this summer or next summer. But right now he's with the Toronto Raptors. They added in Marc Gasol. Okay, Marc Gasol versus Vujacic. Even though he doesn't start, I'm just throwing him in there. Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka versus Vujacic. Is there anything else on the Magic side that can compete? From an athletic perspective, there is, but they don't play him. His name is Jarrell Martin. Jarrell Martin is there, and he could help Vujacic, but they do not play him. They as well have Kem Birch, okay, who's going to play. I know they've got him at center, but he's really a forward center. So they got Kem Birch there as well. And then that's what they got there at the center position. So the edge goes to let's even them out. Let's even them out. Even though Marc Gasol a little bit better than Vujacic, but Vujacic was an All-Star this year. Got to respect his game. He can stretch the floor. Let's say the edge is slightly to Toronto due to Ibaka and Gasol, okay, versus Vujacic and a combination of a lot of people, right? A combination of a lot of people. Mo Bamba is going to anchor the inside. I think you're going to see him play big minutes. He's going to be able to control the post, and he could be a big X factor. Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba inside. Think about it. Bamba song. He has his own song, so you know he's deadly. Let's see what happens there. From a guard perspective, let's move on. Went from center to guard. Why not? Guard, Kyle Lowry, Jeremy Lin. Yes. Done. All right. Mike Carter Jr. and DJ Augustine are exceptional players, but they're not at this level. With Kyle Lowry, got to respect him. He's an all-star. Can they compete? Yes, but the edge slightly goes to Toronto in that part of the game. Slightly. You see how close this is? Here goes an interesting one where I think Toronto leads the pack is the forward position. Leonard, OG, and Pascal Siakam. These three really make up the heart of the team, in my opinion, and get things going. And them versus Evan Fournier, Aaron Gordon, and Jonathan Isaac will be the matchup to watch and who will succeed. Jonathan Isaac, another high draft pick, long player, representative of who's Mr. Green. Mr. Green from the Wizards. I forgot his first name, but you basketball heads know who I'm talking about. Used to play for the Cavaliers. Mr. Green out of Georgetown, reminiscent of Jonathan Isaac. Can Jonathan Isaac come full swing to be that type of player? Will he make his entrance? He doesn't have the bunnies that I see as far as his running ability. He doesn't hop. I like to see a little pop in the step. He doesn't have that, so he's a big, long player that can stretch the floor and can pay dividends. Aaron Gordon is a player I think should be looked at as MIP. Great year this year. Fell off a little bit from the beginning of the year, but he's still a strong player. Be interested to see how he plays out against Kawhi Leonard. I think they should match them up with each other to see what happens. Shooting guard position is where I see the deficiency, and the edge maybe to the Orlando Magic. And why? I think they have an all-star in Terrence Ross. I love Terrence Ross's game. Okay, he's coming off the bench, but he's an exciting player. I love what I see out of Terrence. I love what I see out of Fournier, who also plays that role. I think those two will be the linchpins in their success. If he's able to get going, they're going to live and die with this kid. No, I know no one's thinking about it, but Terrence Ross is a big X factor. They're going to have to shut him down. The former Toronto Raptor plays against his old team. Could there be an edge there? Maybe. I wish they could have added in some guard help, but they got some young guys that they've bought into already in Melvin, Frazier, and Iwandu. So those guys are going to have to come in and do what they can. I don't know what they're going to do. They may surprise me, but I haven't seen anything from them yet. There's a lot of pace that they could have picked up before this playoff run to make themselves even more, give them a better chance of meeting a goal of winning a game. That said, from this could be the biggest upset perspective for me. But as I see it, I don't think there's a chance in hell that Toronto loses to Orlando. I'm gonna give Toronto. I'm gonna give Orlando 2 games here out of respect, but I think it'll be a 5-game series. I got Toronto taking the cake there. From there, I went over all the lineups, so that's why I'm going to go back in and do this in the matchups until the next round. Raptors versus Sixers, biggest matchup of the NBA. Okay, be the biggest matchup of the NBA in my opinion, because the Sixers, the Thunder won't play the Rockets till about the last final round, and whoever comes out of their finals, Thunder, I really hope the Thunder make it because they have the best chance of being GSW or the Houston Rockets. On this side, it is Sixers versus Raptors. Whoever wins out here takes it all, in my opinion. Celtics don't have enough buzz, but the only vantage point the Celtics may have is that these Sixers and Raptors beat themselves so much in the 7-game series, and they kind of went out here that they get to go into the championship. Now, I put the Celtics there, but there is a strong chance, a very strong chance, that despite what people think, that our buddies out of the East, the beautiful Milwaukee Bucks could win this thing out. All right, there is a strong chance that that could happen. I mean, it is what it is. Milwaukee Bucks could take it all the way. So what are my picks? Am I jumping and jiving? Do the Bucks beat the Celtics? Kyrie, this is your shot, but I tell you what, the forward position is pretty strong on Milwaukee Bucks. I got the Bucks headed to the Eastern Conference Finals because of the strong forward position. They are loaded there and may stretch their veins out of the Boston Celtics. They also have defensive guards there. Should the Celtics win? I don't know. They have the small forward down positions, but the power forward, stretch power forwards that they have on the Milwaukee Bucks makes for something interesting. Sixers versus Milwaukee in the championship. Great lineup. I think that's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be a war. But if the Raptors and Sixers beat themselves up too much, you may not see a war. You may see tired bones. And the Milwaukee Bucks may be your representatives from the East for the championship, which will be interesting. So, Sixers, I hope, go all the way. I got them winning the Eastern Conference Finals. On the West side, Wolf, it's tough to do. I got the Rockets just because. I know GSW is probably gonna get there. I don't care. You can nag me. I don't care if GSW gets there. I gotta go against them. Rockets going, even though on paper GSW should go. No offense. Rockets get there. OKC is the dark runner. OKC is the dark runner. If they can load up and be what they're supposed to be with all their talent, they could be in the finals as well, alongside the Houston Rockets. With them possibly being the Rockets if they get their young guys to go. It's all about the young guys. They need some Kobe moments out of their young guys. Somebody needs to come out. Ferguson, Diallo, one of those guys has Burton. Burton hasn't even played, and I'm putting them up there because I love him so much. Can one of those guys get up there and go? And that is the key factor. NBA champion will be the West. Whoever wins out the West will win it out. But the Sixers will have the strongest chance from the East. And, folks, if they were able to add a guard, a true point guard off of free agency, I was even saying get Brandon Jennings, get somebody, right? Kay Felder, get somebody exciting that can move it. Isaiah Thomas would have been a good waiver pickup for the 76ers. They couldn't get it. So now they're in this position where it's like, okay, we'll see what happens, but I still think they're lacking at the guard position. I don't know if Ben Simmons can go all the way. All right. So that said, there goes my NBA prediction. Rockets versus Sixers. Let's see how that pans out. I may lose in the first round because the Sixers have to have their head on straight, and that's been a problem. Celtics, hey, I just don't think they're strong enough this year. I think Milwaukee makes it. We'll see. NBA playoffs start soon. We're out. Off work. Peace.